And that's where when I do a consult with a realtor, I'm the bad guy and I get to tell the people what they need to remove. And then I also tell them, this is your investment now. This is no longer your home. You're going to the next one. You want the most amount of money, so this is what you need to do.
Home Advisor did a survey, and they said that 33 to 50% of homes sold faster. They sold way faster, being staged, less time on the market.
When you go through a house and one color flows throughout as an accent color, your eye doesn't stop at anything. It all looks uniform and cohesive. It's a terrible design thing, and a lot of people do it.
After the tour in segment 1, first impressions are everything. Can you imagine walking into this house completely empty? Oh, it's a big house. And you would just kind of walk through and you don't even know what half the rooms are for. So first impressions are everything, like a first date and an interview. That's very important. And something I wanted to ask you, Home Advisor did a survey, and they said that 33 to 50% of homes sold faster. They sold way faster, being staged, less time on the market. Your opinion?
It works. It definitely works.
Okay.
So they'll get it done sooner. Won't have to reduce the price.
That's a big one.
Yeah.
So let's talk about cost. So
Yeah.
what would something like this cost? Now you used their stuff too.
Yes.
So-
It was considered a partial stage
Okay.
because they had some furniture they left. I brought in all the finishing touches,
Okay.
rugs that we needed, kitchen dining chairs, made up the beds the way they should look, and artwork and stuff like that.
Okay, so how much did you charge for that?
I believe hers was $1,650. I'm just going to say $1,650. A minimum for smaller houses
Okay.
is $1,550.
Okay.
Okay, so we had a lot of bigger pieces in this house. That's why it was slightly more.
Okay.
But it is so worth it because that price is cheaper than the first price reduction.
And I
you'll
can
take.
confirm that because when I do price reductions, or I see them, they're not like 5,000, they're like 10,
Yeah.
15, and I've even seen 20,000. So why
Especially
wouldn't you?
more expensive house,
Right. but-
you're going to have more of a reduction,
right.
unfortunately. Yeah.
Sometimes with the smaller houses, trust me,
Yeah, okay.
I just had that happen.
Oh,
It's
no.
like, oh my God. I think they were self-sabotaging, like what we talked about.
We talked about self-sabotage.
Oh my God, oh yeah.
I don't really want to move.
Okay, so I want to ask you, how long have you been a stager?
Okay, I've always been in the art field, though.
Right.
Okay, in design. I worked for 2 years out in Washington State, where I was head stager and head merchandise display for a furniture store out there. Just absolutely loved it, and then we got homesick and wanted to come back, and we bought this business. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So this guy in
that's
Brighton was
how-
selling this business. We got all his contacts. Well, we have since grown the business probably more
Oh,
than
yes.
50%.
And by the way, Maureen did an absolutely fabulous job on my farmhouse.
Yes. It had
That the
challenges.
developer. Yes, but they did a great job on the house, and it was just beautifully staged. I saved those pictures of
Yeah.
So I know her work personally. She does an amazing job.
Thank you.
And now, do you have a big team? I know you
I have
talked about-
6 workers. I'm training right now 2 designers,
Okay.
assistant designers, because we'd like to eventually take our trip to Hawaii again. We have a condo out there, and COVID.
Oh,
we
nice.
haven't seen it since COVID
Oh, my
because we haven't
goodness.
had people trained to leave the business. So we're getting there.
And you have your own warehouse, don't you?
Yeah, 2 warehouses in Wixom. Yeah.
Are you constantly on the lookout to buy stuff?
Yes. And
Yes.
do you want to know how many houses I have out right now?
Yes.
70.
70 houses, folks.
So all that furniture came
she
back.
knows her stuff.
I'm a new furniture store. It'll be MLC Designs Furniture.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, so all over Michigan.
Oh, that is wonderful. So basically, a lot of the services you offer, you do like a partial, like what you did here.
Yes.
And consulting. This is something we were talking about before we made the cameras go live. And I said, when you just come in and consult with someone just to give them an idea, which us realtors will do. So someone might be kind of like, I'm not really sure I want to stage my house. I want to do it myself. We would have her come in and give them a nice long.
And believe me, every time I do that with a client, that we're using their things,
Right.
but we're moving it around in different ways. And they're learning things. I could see light bulbs go off in the process of the consult, even if it's an hour long. I could see that they're taking that knowledge. So this is how important it is. They're taking that knowledge that they're learning from that house to the next one. You know.
That is great.
Yeah.
And do you run into the fact that people, after they speak with you, say, just stage it?
Yeah, they do. But sometimes we're able to get it done. Yeah. You know,
and there are people that really have great houses. They just need some help.
Yeah, and they might even have expensive stuff. It's just not done the right way. There's a design sense about being balanced and color, bringing color in, so that when you go through there's a psychological thing. When you go through a house and one color flows throughout as an accent color, your eye doesn't stop at anything. It all looks uniform and cohesive. It is planned. You know, they don't know that, but it is planned that their eye flows and it doesn't stop at anything.
And you learned that when you were doing...
Yeah. Well, being merchandise display.
Yeah.
Because they're coming into the store. How do you want them to come through the store? What do you want them to see? And then
in the house.
Yeah, and through the house.
And what happens when you list your house? It's now you're marketing it.
Yeah.
And now it's like a product, if you will. So how you would live and how you stage.
Yeah, it's totally different. That's why some people don't understand when I say it's not really interior design, because I'm staging it for the homeowner that's going to buy this. When you have an interior designer, that's for the people that are living in it.
Right.
I want the house to look the best. You know, normally people would maybe have a white sofa, but it makes it look really nice.
Yes.
It makes the space look bigger. You know, I have 4 dogs. There's no way. I go into houses and look at it and just live vicariously, like, oh, I wish my house looked like this. But reality is I have 4 dogs, so they kill it. You know, so, or if they have kids or animals, you know, you can't have it look that way. But I'm geared towards staging it, so I'm trying to make every room look to the full potential, you know, and what you could do it, you know, with it.
Every room has a purpose.
Yeah, every room has a purpose. And sometimes you have challenging rooms, running across a lot of long, I call them bowling alley living rooms.
Yes.
Oh, so that was like similar to your
That
house.
was.
It
And
was
you
one
did a
long,
beautiful
and if
job.
you separate them into spaces, then people could see what they could do with it.
Yeah.
You know.
It's not the gauntlet.
Yeah. All you think is like, get the bowling pins out and we're gonna, you know, bowl. And there are a lot of living rooms that are long and narrow. You know, and
especially the older houses.
yeah, it is, particularly the older houses.
Yeah.
You know, so I've had a lot of rooms like that. So figuring out the spaces.
Now, let me ask you this: do you work a lot with like the outside appearances, telling people how to do their curb appeal?
Yes.
As well as their backyard appeal.
Yeah.
Now that we're getting into the spring, we're into summer. Right
Yeah,
now.
we don't do it much dealing with the fall, winter, but now we're starting to hit our season where you're dealing with outside. And
Correct.
that's why we want to have all the windows open here so you could see the backyard, nice and green,
Yes.
you know, and manicured. This particular realtor, she goes through the house and has them do a checklist, which is great, and most of the time her people do exactly that.
That's
You know,
good.
because
That's what we
it
like.
is very important that you don't want to see weeds. You don't want to.
No.
You don't want the first impression of them walking up and seeing and have to start a list. And that is my thing. I don't want anybody to ever start a list of what they have to do.
Well, I find personally that when you have something that isn't done properly,
Yeah.
all they do is focus on that.
Yeah.
And it's like,
Well, but
now
then they
you're missing-
start. Then they think, okay, what else is wrong?
Oh, yeah.
You know,
I've seen it really go down holes.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, because I also show buyers house, and I'm like, oh my God.
Let's see this.
They're not going to buy this house, but, you know, now
They got
have
to
go
caulk the whole entire bathroom. Okay, they're
Oh, yeah.
they're gonna walk.
Yeah, we're getting the tick list.
Yeah.
So here's an interesting question. Recently, virtual staging has become sort of popular. I have my own opinion of virtual staging, but, you know, it's...
Yeah.
We already talked about it.
Yeah.
Here's the question. Have you had the experience of someone trying to sell a house via virtual staging and called you because it wasn't?
Yes.
Can you?
They did. They did.
Okay,
It was a
tell me
beautiful
about
$850,000 house last year on Lake Fenton. And I looked at the pictures online. You know, they had it virtually staged and nothing happened. And I'm looking at the pictures and I know the layout of the house. I'm seeing different, you know, and I did walk through it too.
Okay.
But then I went to see the virtuals again and I'm like, they positioned the sofa with the back to the fireplace.
Oh my God.
And people probably wouldn't have known that, but I knew the layout of the big open floor plan that why is this sofa sitting there when I know there's a fireplace right behind it? And I'm like, well, you're almost giving false advertising because that's not how that furniture should be laid out in that room. And then another thing I thought too on that virtual stage, when I do lake houses, and I do a lot of them, particularly around here in Michigan.
Right.
Okay.
It's kind of hard
Yeah,
to avoid
yeah.
that.
I do a lot of lake houses. I don't go overboard with the themey thing, but I have very upscale looking lake stuff.
Right.
You know, I'll have shells, or I'll have a beachy looking coffee table, and then I typically like to do the blues because that's incorporating the water and the sky into the home, which is what you're having. And they don't do that. You know, they don't add that special touch to the virtual stage. I've also seen virtual stages where it's not in proportion to the room itself.
That's a big
You know,
thing I've noticed.
and then it looks odd. They'll just place and I call it tchotchke, it's accessories.
Yes.
Weird and it's like you just threw a pot there, right? You know, on that video screen. It wasn't where when I do my tchotchke, it is actually intentional, and to do tchotchke the right way, this comes with my merchandise display. You have tall, medium, small.
Okay.
Okay, and then it's a nice balanced arrangement. With virtual staging, all they're doing is putting a vase up there. You know.
I know, and then
And
you
and
can't
the
figure
colors.
out why it looks off
Yeah.
because people get like,
And they
"That's
keep
not-"
looking at it going, what is wrong?
Yeah.
And then they also don't put, like, I take into consideration the age of the house,
Okay.
the area it's in, because that makes a big difference too.
Yes.
There's, I mean, from Ann Arbor to West Bloomfield, that's totally two different areas, okay? So you're not gonna put the same kind of furniture or accessories in those two homes. Whereas the people that do the virtual staging don't realize that. So they'll put things in that is not for the area. I don't know how to explain it, but
it's not
but
it doesn't go with the house.
Right.
Therefore, the person looking at that particular kind of house, that's not the kind of furniture
right,
they
that
would
they'd
be
even
buying.
be interested in.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
That makes a lot of sense.
So it's the age of the house, the area, the colors. There's so many different things that
Oh my
the
God.
variations on staging. So
Oh
it's
my
not just putting
God.
furniture in a house.
And I know. I've got my little notes here, so you'll have to excuse me.
Long notes.
Okay. I always write notes. I always write notes. Okay. All right. And We were just talking about this. This is a fun one.
Okay.
What are some of the really, we got to have some laughs here. Some of the things that you find people do in an attempt to do it yourself.
Yes.
What are some of the worst things you've seen them do?
One of my pet peeves that I've seen in a lot of the consults I go to, they have a beautiful fireplace, and they had little 5x7 pictures all across the mantle. And I try to describe it to them, and I think they get the idea. I said, it's target shooting. It's like you're shooting at the carnival.
Oh my God, I didn't even think about that till you said that.
And it's a terrible design thing, and a lot of people do it. And if you are going to do, like, say, some pictures, you want an 8x10, 5x7, maybe some other little thing, candle or something next to it. And the fireplace is a focal point, and you want to make the most out of it. And putting 5x7s all across the thing is not it.
How do you see a lot of, and this is one of my pet peeves, personal things that belong to them, like pictures and just stuff that screams somebody lives here?
Yeah, that's the family photos. And we did leave it in this because we said if they were black and whites and you really couldn't pinpoint them in the kitchen.
Okay.
But they do need to take the personal things out because the new people have to see themselves in that setting, and they can't, when they see, oh, this is so-and-so's, oh, this is Sophie's room, or something like that. And that's where, when I do a consult with a realtor, I'm the bad guy, and I get to tell the people what they need to remove. And then I also tell them, this is your investment now. This is no longer your home. You're going to the next one. You want the most amount of money, so this is what you need to do to take those personal things out of the house,
So here's another question, and this comes up. So you go into a house for a consult about staging, and you see a purple wall. You go into a bedroom and it's striped. Yes, I went into one of my friend's houses that I listed, and it was black and white stripes, and I went, this is not gonna fly. So, bad colors. Do you hire out services for like painting and stuff?
I do
like
have
that?
a couple names that I have
so
they
you
do it very reasonable.
Okay.
And I know one of my clients did it in Ann Arbor. They had a whole entire house, and the guy did it and did a beautiful job.
Okay.
But it made so much of a difference because when you get a fresh coat of paint, when you have a bunch of holes and stuff like that, it just makes it look new and fresh.
Yes.
And sometimes you got to remember, whatever the house range is, even if it might be, say, in the 300, you might be competing against new housing.
What are some of your favorite neutrals that you suggest using or you have used on?
I do have this one beige in Sherwin-Williams, and that's the one I told them because they still had the oak floors, and they weren't going to redo the flooring. And I'd have to get back with you on the color. It's a beautiful beige, though. It goes with and it doesn't have yellow in it.
So like a beige.
And then I have different grays. There's agreeable grays that a lot of my investors use. Because with grays, you can get a green gray, you can get a purple gray. You can't just guess.
I'm a gray person.
Yeah, you can't.
That's me.
Yeah, but you got to watch your grays. It's got to be a nice
I actually did different tones
of gray
depending on the room.
Yeah. Because there's beautiful. There's I saw one house that was done in it was a gray, but it was a green gray, but it gave a nice calming feel, But when you have white woodwork, you don't want to paint everything white. You want that woodwork that you paid tons of money for to stand out.
I do in my investment properties. I use antique white.
Yeah, because you want the woodwork to stand out. So the house in Ann Arbor, I told him a color. I didn't demand it. I said, this is what I would seriously suggest, because they were going to go with the gray. Okay. But they had the oak floors, and it was going to fight with it because the oak floors are a warm tone, and they had the oak cabinets and everything. And I was like, you can't put gray, And they did the beige, and it looked beautiful, and it sold within a month. That house.
There you go.
And I think that house was listed at probably 600, 700,000. Yeah, and it just looked so nice. I was thrilled when I went in there to put the staging in, and I'm like, oh,
So, if someone hires you to do staging, generally, on the average, how long does it take from, putting it together, coming into stage before it goes on market? If someone says, hey, my house is going to be ready Monday, and this is a week before.
Yeah, a week before is good.
A week before?
Yeah,
And
because
then you come
usually
in.
we schedule a week and a half out.
Okay.
We'll try to fit them in. I mean, we have done 2-3 stages a day to get stuff done. Yeah, for people, because we know they're on a time and they're looking for the weekend, to get it done,
To have it done.
Yeah, pictures and get it on the market and do that. So usually a week and a half is a good time.
Well, that's not bad at all.
And I personally, if it's a bigger house, I want to walk through it, and then I work with a lot of investors, and sometimes I don't even get to see their houses though. I come in blind.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's, probably at least 3 houses a week I come in blind.
Well, that's a little bit of a challenge.
It is. I have
you
to
on
have
your toes?
I did one this morning. And I'll try to pack enough stuff on the truck. I'll have one color theme, and usually I know certain investors what they put in their houses.
Okay.
I couldn't come in blind to someone like for a realtor, because I want to do the exact best job I can for the realtor. The investors they flow. They just want to get it on the market, so they're always pretty good. Sometimes there might be some weird room that I didn't know about, and I have to go back to it.
But with an investor, I mean, they're just like, just stage it, we trust you.
Yeah.
However, when you're dealing with
Realtors.
a realtor, when you're dealing with a family,
Yeah.
and someone is selling their house, now we got the
It's
emotional,
personal. It's personal.
it's a very different staging job.
Yeah,
It's
it is,
different, yeah.
and a lot of time thought out in what I'm going to put in the rooms, and so it is a little bit more time consuming.
Okay.
But we charge about the same for that as we do our investors.
Well, that's wonderful. Well, if
yeah.
the investors are using her, better
Yes.
think about that. They will not spend money that doesn't create more money.
Yeah.
Because time is money.
Yeah.
So you don't want languishing on the market.
Yeah.
I want to say thank you so much.
So
This
thank
has been
you.
great. So we're going to give you all of Maureen's information. The house is great, and we will be showing different pictures and different ideas. And if you have any questions, always feel free to reach out to me, or you can even call Maureen yourself.
Hi, Maureen Costello. You viewed the house. You can reach me. It's Maureen Costello, 248-880-0068. And we have a website, MLC Designs. And we also have a Facebook page that we show lots of different houses and at different levels. We have $200,000 houses, and we have over $1 million houses. So you can see the different, houses to see. So thank you so much.
I'm Taryn Scherer with Century 21, and I want to thank you for tuning in and listening to this wonderful interview on staging. I found it really interesting and enlightening, and I hope you did too. I know you did, because when you listen to a professional talk about how they do it and why they do it, you not only see their interest and their passion for it, but you're learning. And now you've realized that staging, it's a slam dunk. I mean, you want to sell your house, you want to move it, you stage it. And any other type of videos or interviews you'd like to see me do, please reach out to me, because I will be doing these on a regular basis to keep you informed, and you're going to be listening to the pros talk. We'll catch you on the next one.